Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hello, ladies. This is Anita Stoudemire, and you are listening to the Better Love Movement podcast. So I am back again this week with another podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining me over all these weeks. For those of you who may be new to the podcast, I can give you a little backstory on who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. My name is Anita Stoudemire. I am a licensed professional therapist. I specialize in couples counseling. I specialize in working with women on a variety of issues. One of my favorite topics, as everyone knows, is codependency and recovering from codependency, as well as self-esteem issues, women who suffer from depression or anxiety, low self-worth, self-esteem. Those are the issues that I love working with women on. I am also your resident love mentor and dating and relationship coach. So I am so passionate about good love, making sure that we have the skills and the tools needed to have the best love possible. The reason why I named this podcast the Better Love Movement is because we need a better love movement. We are really suffering out here, especially in the last few years. Men and women seem to be at each other's throats lately, and we need each other. We need each other. We have to come back to better love. And yes, I'd love it if it became a movement. That would be amazing. So come along with me. Come join the ride. I predominantly speak to women, as I am a femininity expert. That's something that I am incredibly passionate about. So I work with women on being the most healthy, happy, feminine woman that they can be. That's what my passion and purpose is helping women to return to femininity. And the reason for that is because I myself got lost on my femininity journey, being a single mother and having to run a household and having to work and be a business owner. I got completely lost, and I was able to find my way back with the help of some really great mentors, much older than me, who had been talking about this for years. And I thought, wow, women need to hear this message. Younger women need to hear this message, or we're going to go off in the weeds. We're going to get lost. So I decided to pick up that baton and run with it and bring this message to the world, especially our women. So return to your feminine essence, your feminine energy. It is predominantly who you are, okay? So that's a little spiel about me. Thank you so much. Welcome to the podcast. I am so happy that you're here. Please do me the biggest favor ever. Help the podcast to grow. Help it to get out to more women who desperately need it. Please leave me a review wherever you listen to the podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Please comment on this video. I would so appreciate that. But anywhere and everywhere you listen to podcasts, please consider leaving us a review, a 5-star review if you love what you hear. Go back into the archives and listen to some of the older episodes. I mean, there are 135 of them. Today, we are in episode number 135. So trust me when I tell you, there is something for everyone. I have interviewed some of the greatest people, some of the greatest influencers Instagram has to offer, Facebook has to offer, and I have some more really wonderful interviews coming up soon. So please come along with us for this ride. Join us in creating a better love for everybody. We need it so desperately. So let me jump right into this week's episode. We're in episode number 135, and it is entitled, All of the Needs You Have Won't Be Met by Your Partner. What do I mean by that? So, I had a follower reach out to me through Instagram. She reached out to me in the DM, and she was talking about how lonely she was in her relationship, or how she felt like, he's not spending enough time with me, or, she told me a whole list of things he wasn't doing, and that the end result was she was very lonely. And, what could she do? And she felt like she was on her feminine journey, and I'm doing all the things you're instructing, what could I do? And so after we went back and forth for a little while, I finally realized that she didn't have a life. She did not have a life other than going to work and coming home. And I think she worked like 4 days a week. She really didn't have anything else going on. She wasn't seeing her girlfriends. She said that a lot of that had fell by the wayside, or that they were, I guess, in their relationships or with their families or what have you. She didn't have a group of girlfriends that she was seeing regularly. She didn't have any other responsibilities. They don't have children, so she didn't have any children. She didn't have any hobbies or any interests. She didn't have any communities that she belonged to, like a church community or a sorority community or, any other communities. She didn't have a life. And that's when I said to her, your partner is not going to meet every need you have. I mean, that's a little dose of harsh truth. And that's an unrealistic expectation that you're setting. And so that's why you feel lonely. That's why you feel unfulfilled in this relationship, because you're expecting your man to meet every need you have. And that's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. So the reason why this is such an interesting conversation is this is new. This is a relatively new conversation. And when I say new, I mean in the last 20 to 30 years. So not new as in this year, but the last 20 to 30 years, we're seeing people have this ideal of the person that they want to do life with, or their husband or their wife or their significant other. And they believe that this person should be everything to them, right? This person should be their best friend. This person should be their lover. This person should be, their business partner. This person should be their cheerleader. This person should be, like everything, their spiritual advisor, like everything they could want and need, that the person they choose to do life with and be in a relationship with, that it should all come from that person. And I hear that and I think, I would collapse under the weight of that. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do if a man came to me and thought that I should be a counselor, a best friend, a lover, a mother, a business partner, a spiritual advisor. Like, if I was supposed to be all those things to him, yuck. Like, I couldn't even imagine, just he and I, like, all the time, other than when we're at work or doing other things that we need to do alone. Like, it's just he and I all the time, talking all the time, texting all the time, being together all the time. And that feels like a weight to me. That doesn't feel good to me at all. And it doesn't feel comprehensive. Like, there's so many parts of my life that lend to my individuality as a person, as a woman. And there's so many parts of my life. And maybe, I've often asked myself, is it just me? Am I, do I have this life that I guess most people don't have? But there's just so many parts to my life that, I can fold my partner into my life, right? And I do believe your partner should know about those parts of your life. But one, they don't have to bring it or provide it. And two, they don't have to be with you, to experience it. Like, they can experience it after the fact. A lot of times when I'm in the early stages of dating a man, he doesn't come to my home. He doesn't meet my dog. He doesn't meet my cat. He doesn't meet my children He doesn't meet my mother, right? There's all these parts of my life that my man may know about, but he's technically not folded into that just yet. He has to earn his way into that. And so I keep that going. Like all that stuff keeps going, even my work. There are men that I have dated, and I find this fascinating, that they don't Google me. They don't look me up on social media. They could know a whole lot more about me than they do, but they don't. They don't look me up on social media. They don't Google me. They just interact with me. They talk on the phone with me. They text with me. They FaceTime with me, and we go on dates. That's it. And so they literally take me at face value. Like what they see is what they believe Anita is. And I just find that fascinating because I Google them, I background check them. I look them up. I find them on social media. I do my homework when it comes to a man. And I'm always telling you ladies that. But I find that fascinating that there's this whole parts of my life that they don't experience firsthand. And I'm not hiding it. And I've always told men that. I said, hey, it's not a secret. Go Google my name. And a whole lot of things are going to come up. A whole lot of pictures, a whole lot of videos, are going to come up for lots of different reasons. He's going to find out my NPI number. He's going to find out where I work, my counseling practice. He could find out a whole lot more than he knows getting from me firsthand, because these are not things that I'm telling the average person. I'm not going out on a date and telling a man the name of my practice and where. I'm not doing any of that. I'm interacting with him as a woman to a man. But there are whole parts of my life that, until we are deep in, and I'd probably say maybe 9 months or a year, that would kind of open up to him. They would unfold. And then once I bring him in, once I fold him into the life I have, I don't stop that life. I may curtail certain things, or I may, move things around, but my life doesn't stop. I still go into my office for appointments. I still do my podcast. I still do my content on Instagram. I still write. I still publish books. My life does not stop. I love my life. And I want to be able to bring someone in and fold them into my life. And I want them to do me the same way. I want them to fold me into their life. There's a whole lot about them that in the first 3 months, I don't know. And I haven't experienced yet. And if you're doing your homework, taking your time, that's the way it should be. You should know everything there is to know about a man in the first 3 months. Something's weird about that to me. But, even if you think he's told you everything, he hasn't. There's a whole lot to his life that he just hasn't told you. But time is the great equalizer. I've always talked about this. Take your time, and over time, things will organically and naturally unfold. You will fold each other into each other's lives. That's the way that's supposed to go. And so I found out she really didn't have a life. She really didn't have anything that she was passionate or purposed to do. She really didn't have hobbies or interests. She really didn't have friends that she was meeting at least once a week or every other week. I may not meet with my friends every week, maybe every other week. She didn't have other things that she did socially. She didn't have a life. And she was expecting this man to be her whole life. And that's a little unfair to him, if you ask me, because I wouldn't want the weight of being someone's whole life, of being all of their entertainment, all of their, just meeting all of the needs they have. So here's what I find is interesting. One of the books that I do counseling out of, I use this book when I'm doing marriage counseling and relationship counseling. It's Willard Harley's book. It's called His Needs, Her Needs. And this book has 10 core emotional needs that we all have in relationships. There is only one of the core emotional needs that only your partner must meet. One. That means you can only get this particular need met by him. Guess what it is? It is sexual fulfillment. So if you are in a monogamous relationship, the assumption is that your sexual needs will be met by your husband. Okay? You're not going to go outside of your marriage to get your sexual needs met if you are a monogamous person in a monogamous relationship. That's the assumption. And sad to say now, I tell people to actually say that. I've been telling people lately, when you enter into a new relationship with someone, ask them how they feel about monogamy. Ask them if they want to have a monogamous relationship. Like, you have to ask that now. It's sad, but I don't make any assumptions. I make no assumptions no more because of all this polyamory and whatever it is, polygamy, whatever's going on. All these people with all these people with all these people. That's what I call it. Now I ask men, how do you feel about monogamy? How do you feel about being with one woman sexually and socially? Yeah. Yes, ladies, you have to ask that question now. Add that to the first date or second date or third date question. What are your thoughts on monogamy, being faithful and loyal to one woman sexually and socially? And if he asks you what socially means, well, sexually, I understand that. What does socially mean? Well, that means that you're not going to be on a dating app. You're not going to be flirting in your DMs, sending messages through Messenger on Facebook. I'm not going to find you out to lunch or dinner with a woman by yourself and you're going to tell me that y'all are just friends. No. Be very specific, okay, in your request and get him to agree with words. Oh, yes, I agree to be exclusive and committed, sexually and socially, monogamous. Okay, but that's it. That's the one need that your partner must meet. The other 9 emotional needs that we have in relationship, we can get met by other people and other things. And you should be making that happen. Like, you should have other ways to meet your recreational companionship needs or other ways to, what's another one? Domestic support. So I'm getting my domestic support need met by my housekeeper. Or other ways to get your intimate conversation. I get that with my mother or my children or my girlfriends. Or other ways to get, what's another one? You know, there are other ways to get these other needs met. And we have to learn how to pull from these other ways. So if you're a cuddly person, get a dog or a cat. Cuddle up with that. Give your kids a hug. Like, there are other, legitimate ways that you can get these needs met. Okay. And so I just encouraged her, get a life of your own. And trust me when I tell you, when you do this, and again, a legitimate life, not talking to other men, not, going out with other men and doing some foolishness, because that's only going to get your relationship in trouble. I'm talking about get a legitimate life of your own, get some girlfriends, get some hobbies, get some interests, volunteer somewhere, get your faith community. There are plenty of ways, to get the needs you have met and to have fun and to put some purpose into your life. There's plenty of ways to do that. Go back to school, take a class. There's plenty of ways to do it legitimately. So I don't mean, entertainment in your DMs. Don't do that. Okay. Don't flirt with, the guys at work or go out with, men at work. And don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. I'm talking there are legitimate ways to get the needs you have met. Okay. But I encouraged her to do that. And we brainstormed some things that perhaps she could start doing. I said, and let me tell you what's going to happen. A really interesting thing is going to happen. He is now going to feel less energy going towards him, less pressure on him, because that's all going to be channeled to something else, to somewhere else. And he's going to take more interest in you. He's going to start coming to you. He's going to start calling you more, texting you more, and inquiring about what you've been doing, where you've been going, who you've been going with. That's how this works. Peeling your energy off of him, because right now it's like a weighted blanket. There are plenty of women walking around and you all are a weighted blanket. A 60, 70, 80 pound, 120 pound weighted blanket is too much for the man to feel like he has to meet all the needs you have. Get a life of your own. Have a rich, full life of your own. Your man is meant to be dessert, not your 4-course meal. So get a life of your own and fold him into that life. That's how that's supposed to work. Okay, that's what I do. I make time for dating. I make time for the men that I'm seeing, and I maintain my life. So guess what? When they're not calling, I'm out doing something else. I'm out with someone else, with my children or with my girlfriends. We went to a carnival on Saturday, this past Saturday. And I took some neighborhood kids. So it wasn't even just my daughter. I took some neighborhood kids to the carnival, and then we went to the mall, and then I took them to get something to eat. That was my whole day. And I saw clients in the morning. And yeah, that's me giving back. That's me doing something for someone else and getting myself off my mind. When you're sitting around and you're thinking about yourself and how bad you got it and how lonely you are and how your man won't be there for your every woman need, yes, it doesn't feel good. You are going to feel horrible. Get yourself off your mind and do something else. Maybe do something else for someone else, okay? The other thing I want to bring to your attention is Esther Perel. You know, I love her. In her book, Mating in Captivity, she talked a lot about this new phenomena in modern day relationships where we expect our partner to be everything to us. This is new. When I talk to people like my mother and my aunt, they were like, yeah, girl, you know, football season came. That's where the whole term football widow came from. Your man was gone. Your man was watching football games, going to football games, going over to his friend's house watching football games if he was into football like that. And you had girlfriends, you had the children, you had the house, you had other things you was doing. You wasn't sitting there worrying about him or I want you to sit here with me all weekend. No, you let him watch football. And then when football season was over, you got your husband back. Like, that's where that whole thing came from. But women then, even my mother, her sisters, they were like, we had each other. We had our girlfriends. We had other things going on. We had the kids. We had the little projects we had at home. We had our work. We had other things to do. It wasn't that big of a deal. But what I am seeing now is not even just women, but especially women. People don't have friends. People don't have friends. You don't have friends that you meet up with and talk on the phone to. Like, you don't have friends or family that you can talk on the phone with or do things with. I don't understand that. And you're relying too heavily on your significant other. And again, the weight of that can be too much. So yeah, she talked about this in her book. I love that book too, Mating in Captivity. That's a great one. But yes, we ladies, we have got to have things in our life that make us feel good, you know. And again, I know some ladies that, you know, they're running a mile a minute. They're doing this times 100. So I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about to the point where your man can't get in a date edgewise during the week, or, you know, you're never at home. I'm not talking about that. I want you to leave time and space for him, but I do want you to have a life of your own. Super, super important that you're doing this. All right. If you have any thoughts or questions about this episode, please share them in the comments. I love reading your comments and responding to your comments. If you're in a relationship yourself and you find that you are more lonely than the average woman, or you and your man don't spend a lot of time together, I'd be curious to know, like, what else are you doing outside of work? What else do you have going on? What else are you doing? And don't get me wrong, there might be some situations where the man is, you know, overscheduled and overworking. And that's something that, you know, we could unpack. But a lot of times women are telling me, no, he works 40 hours a week. He might go out with his friends to do something physical like play basketball or, you know, hang out once a week. You know, he'll talk to his mom on the phone, or if he has kids, you know, and I'm like, yeah, those are pretty average things, right? John Gottman says that we need 6 hours a week, 6 hours a week doing things for and with our partner in order to keep our relationship strong. And that's not a lot of That's not a lot of time when we think about it. I'm getting ready to do the math for you. So 24 hours in a day times 7 days is 168 hours. And I'm asking you to give each other 6 hours of that. So 168 hours, and I want you to give your partner 6 hours, right? That leaves them the whole rest of their time. That's a little bit of time to keep your relationship strong. So this is what I tell my couples that I work with, and I give them Gottman's formula of how this is supposed to work. So if you spend 6 quality hours a week, you should feel good. You should feel strong. You should feel loved. You should feel cherished. You should feel your love bucket should be full, and you should feel really good with this 6 hours. If you can do more, do more. But here's the catch, y'all. This is where some of y'all are failing. 6 quality hours. There's a formula. There's a formula of what that should look like. And some of y'all aren't doing that. Some of y'all are not greeting each other. You're not hugging and kissing each other every day. Some of you are not complimenting each other every day. Some of you are not having quality conversations where you're not looking at your phone or doing something else when your person is talking. That's the problem. So I know couples who spend 20 hours, 30 hours a week, but it's not quality time. That's the problem. You're not going on dates. You're not having a conversation once a week about your relationship satisfaction and, how are things for you in our relationship? What's something I could do better? What's something that I'm doing that you want me to stop doing? Having those quality conversations. See, that's what's not happening. You all are, just in the same room. You all are watching TV or movies. You all are, it's not quality time. That's what I think the difference is. When I followed Gottman's 6 hours a week to the letter, oh my gosh, it was life altering. It was life altering. It created a deeper intimacy in my relationship. So I know for a fact that it works. Now you have to be with someone who's willing to work it with you, but it does work. So yeah, I might link that down in the comments so you can see what the formula looks like. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me at the website, www.betterlovemovement.com. If you are interested in couples coaching, love mentoring, or if you are a single person interested in love mentoring, please reach out to me. Check out the services there. I'm also asking for your review of my brand new book, Choose Well, A Simple Formula to Determine the Best Man for You, out on Amazon. Let me know what you think. I am working very hard on its follow-up. So that should be dropping in the next 45 days, I'm hoping. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you, ladies, for joining me once again this week. And as always, stay open to love. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.